cannot believe this build gives you your super in under 10 seconds on your Void Hunter. And the super that we're talking about is called Shadow Shot Deadfall, because for the base cooldown is 7 minutes and 35 seconds. This is the least base cooldown that we have for the Void Hunter. So you're going to be able to spam your super in under 10 seconds, but in order for you to be able to do that, you're going to need to use this exotic pulse, which grants you super energy on every kill. And this exotic weapon is called the Bad Juju. So whenever you get a kill on the left side of your screen, the perk that you're going to proc is called String of Curses. So whenever you get a kill with the Bad Juju, it refills the mag, increases the damage for a short duration, and also, this is a big one right here, it also grants super energy based on the strength of String of Curses. So the max you could be able to hold is ×5 String of Curses. And this pulse rifle also has full auto. So whenever you have ×5 String of Curses, it would grant you super energy. And you're mostly going to be using this weapon to grant you the most super energy as possible. And for the catalyst, all it does is that it extends the duration of the String of Curses, which makes it last longer, and you have more of an opportunity to get more super energy. And for the Bad Juju, your main goal is to go for red bar enemies, because those are easy to kill and helps you grant more super energy. Because if you would go for a yellow bar or a boss, it would be harder to proc the perk. So by going for red bars, it would be much easier. And here are the abilities that you're going to be needing to use for this build. For the class ability, you're going to be using Marksman Dodge, because I call it a emergency reload. Let's just say that you're going to get a ton of kills with your pulse rifle, and whenever you reload your pulse rifle, it will most likely remove the perk from your Bad Juju. And for the two aspects you're going to be using for this build don't really help with the build, but I'm just going to let you guys know what I was using. The first aspect is Vanishing Step. Whenever you dodge, it makes you invisible. The next void aspect is Stylish Executioner. Whenever you defeat a weakened, suppressed, or volatile target, it would grant you invisibility and true sight. And here are the three main fragments you're going to need for this build. The first one is a must-have, and it's called Echo of Reprisal. Final blows when surrounded by combatants grants super energy. So your main goal is to get ×5 String of Curses, and once you do, be sure to be surrounded by combatants to get the most super energy as possible. And for the next two fragments are just for your survivability. The first one is Echo of Starvation. Picking up an orb of power grants Devour, and the next fragment increases the duration of Devour and your invisibility, which is called Echo of Persistence. This one's optional, and so for this build, what I put was Echo of Remnants. It increases the duration of your Vortex Grenade, and for this build I was using the Vortex Grenade, but you can change this Void Fragment if you would like. And for the energy and power weapon, you're mainly not going to be using it for this build, because you're mainly going to want to use your Bad Juju to get the most super energy as possible, but I just wanted to let you guys know what I was using. And for the energy weapon slot, I was using the Harsh Language, and the perks for the Harsh Language you would want to go for are Envious Assassin and Destabilizing Rounds. For the power heavy weapon I was using is Regnant, and for the perks you would want to go for are Auto Loading Holster and Explosive Light. Now let's head to the armor mods that would also decrease the cooldown of your super even more. Let's start with the helmet. You're going to be using two mods of Dynamo, which reduces your super cooldown when using your class ability near targets. And for the third armor mod you're going to be using is Kinetic Siphon. Rapid kinetic weapon final blows creates an orb of power. So currently your main goal is to 1, get ×5 of String of Curses on your Bad Juju, and once you are surrounded by combatants, be sure to dodge to proc Dynamo, and after that get as much kills as you can with the Bad Juju to grant you the most super energy. Now let's head to the Gauntlets. For the Gauntlets, it's mostly tying to your class ability. So for the first one, it's called Bolstering Detonation. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with the grenade. And the next one is Focusing Strike. Grants class ability energy when you cause damage with a melee attack. I chose to put these two mods because you're mostly going to be dodging to nearby targets to proc Dynamo, and you're going to need to get as much class ability as you can possibly get for this build to decrease the cooldown for your super. On the last armor mod for your gauntlets you're going to be putting is Firepower. Your grenade final blow creates an orb of power. Now let's head to the chest armor. For the chest armor you're going to be putting two resist mods. The first one is Harmonic Resistance, in which case it ties to your subclass, and the subclass we're using for this build is Void, so it would be reduces incoming void damage from combatants. And for the second resist mod is Solar Resist, reduces incoming solar damage from combatants. The next mod is Charged Up, increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge charge, you can carry by 1. So by default, you could be able to carry 3, but by having this mod, you can now carry 4. And you'll see why. Now let's head to the boots. For the boots, you're going to be putting 2 kinetic weapon surges, which increases your damage by 17%. And for the last mod for the leg armor, you're going to be putting insulation. Reduces your class ability cooldown each time you pick up an orb of power. I put insulation for my boots because I would like to get more class ability energy so I can be able to proc my dodge even more to reduce my super cooldown. But if you want to get the most damage out of your bad juju, you could put another kinetic weapon surge if you would like. Now onto the cloak armor. Of course, we're using kinetic weapon surges and we would like to increase the damage as long as possible from our bad juju. So by having this mod on your hunter cloak, which is called time dilation, your decaying armor charge has a longer duration. The default timer for your armor charges is 10 seconds per armor charge, but having time dilation, it would be 15 seconds per armor charge. So in total, we would have 4 armor charges that last up to 15 seconds for each armor charge. And the next mod is powerful attraction. Automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. And the last mod for your hunter cloak is Reaper. After using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. Now that we're done covering the weapons, aspects, fragments, and armor mods you'll need for this build, here is how you can effectively use this build. Your first thing is to proc String of Curses, and you would need to get ×5 of that. Once doing so, try to be surrounded by enemies to proc the fragment, which is called Echo of Reprisal. After, use your marksman dodge to dodge near targets to proc the mod called Dynamo, which reduces your super cooldown whenever you're near a target. And once you do all of that, be sure to kill every single ad in front of you with the bad juju to grant you the most super energy as possible. I just want to clarify that the gameplay that you're seeing on screen, I was not using any seasonal mods that would benefit from this build. And you remember how I told you that the super base cooldown is 7 minutes and 35 seconds? Here is how you can be able to decrease the cooldown of your super even more. You're going to need to have 100 intellect for this build. And if you would have 100 intellect, your super ability cooldown will decrease to 5 minutes and 48 seconds. That is a big difference. So again, your main priority for your stats is to get 100 intellect. And if you would like to try out the build for yourself, the dim link will also be in the link of the description. And this build is super fun if you would like to spam your super. And if you guys would like to know how you can be able to acquire the bad juju if you do not have it, all you would got to do is go to the exotic archive in the tower, and the materials you'll need to purchase the bad juju are 1 exotic cipher, 125 glimmer, 200 legendary shards, and 1 ascended shard. If you guys would like to know how you can be able to get the catalyst for the bad juju, here is how you can be able to get it. You can be able to get it from Strikes, Crucible, or Gambit, but you will have a chance to be able to get it at the end of the match. Or Strike. Do you want the newest DLC that's coming out in Destiny 2 for free? Well, look no further. I'm doing a $100 giveaway. And as soon as we reach 80 followers on Kick, I'll pick the winner for the giveaway. If you complete all of the tasks, you'll have a higher chance to win the $100. If you would like to learn more, please click in the link in the description. If you'd enjoyed this video, be sure to hit that like button and also subscribe. And I hope to see you guys in the next Destiny 2 video. And if you made it this far into the video, be sure to put Bad Juju in the comments.